to play 5-card stud poker when I was 4 years old. My mama taught me. Mama and Daddy had dropped out of school at the end of 8th grade. Daddy was an unskilled laborer, and Mama stayed at home with us 4 children. We lived way out in the woods. We didn't have any close neighbors. In fact, we didn't have a television, a radio, or any printed material. Magazines, books, even children's books. But Mama had a deck of cards. We didn't gamble. None of us became gamblers. This was just a way to spend our time together. So we'll have Mother dealing out the 5 cards. And let's, in this hypothetical situation, have it that little Wanda at 4 years old has the 6 of hearts, the 8 of diamonds, the 9 of spades, and the 10 of clubs. Now, my older sister, Joy, who has always been a take-charge kind of person, and I so appreciate her, would have said to me, "Hey, Wanda, if you have a 7 in the hole, you have a straight." And I want you to hear what my response would have been at 4 years old. Now, give me a minute. This really takes me a while to be able to say, because as most of you know, I write and publish grammar and writing textbooks. But at 4 years old, this is what I would have said. In fact, I'll show you how I would have acted. When Joy would have said, if you have a 7 in the hole, you have a straight, I would have said, "I ain't got no 7. Did you hear what just came out of my mouth? I want to repeat it. "I ain't got no 7. Oh my. Where had I learned to speak that language? From my parents. We all spoke it. In fact, it sounded right. Therefore, we were just a very happy group, and everything that came out of my mouth was basically double negatives and improper grammar. Fortunately for me, school came. At the age of 6, when I entered 1st grade, I went into such a happy state. I was this little sponge that just pulled in all of this knowledge. I was very fortunate. My district taught grammar from 1st grade, believe it or not, every year, part of the year, right through 12th grade. I was an excellent student. My mama would say to relatives, "Wanda's smart. She makes honor roll." So I was just pulling everything in, and I learned to speak properly. In Phoenix, jobs were scarce. Teaching jobs were scarce, I should say. And I had to take a job teaching 7th grade. I was not happy. That turned out to be one of the best moves of my life. It was there that I met Dr. Mary North, who showed me the prepositional approach to grammar, and an approach that I have used in my one series, my very first grammar series. I also had been influenced by Dr. Maxwell Maltz in his book, Psycho-Cybernetics. His theory was that it takes 21 days to change a habit. And I applied this to learning. If I wanted academic behavioral change, that means changing their language, I would include as many times as possible for those children to be using the correct vernacular. I also added my ideas and strategies. Soon, my students were prospering. They liked English, somewhat, they said, but they were just understanding and mastering so much of their language. One day, one of my 7th grade girls raised her hand. She said, "Are we allowed to correct our parents?" Now, inside, I am doing a happy dance. Woo, oh, oh, oh. But I said to her very solemnly, perhaps that wouldn't be such a good idea because you may be considered condescending. And then I explained that word. Thank heavens, her parents, along with others, came to visit me. They said, "Would you change your perspective on that? Would you simply ask the students to have a conversation about whether they should or should not change?" And I said, "I think that's an absolutely excellent idea." And then the parents said this unique sentence: "We had no idea our grammar was incorrect." Where did you hear that before? When Wandy was 4 years old and in with her wonderful family, and my family is absolutely wonderful. I love them dearly. But we were speaking that vernacular and we didn't realize it. I have one last little story. My husband's family spoke well. But it seemed like after we were married, every time he would be around his buddies, he would start using poor grammar. And I said to him one time, "Jimmy, you speak so well. You know the correct words. Why do you do that?" And he said, "Because I'm just hanging out with my buddies, and that's how they speak." And I had the great aha. And I said, "Oh, thank you for saying that. Okay, Jimmy, here's the difference between you and the children whose vernacular I want to change. You know correct usage. You have the option of choosing to use it correctly or incorrectly. These children don't have an option."